Alright, let's talk about shooting on 35mm film for the first time. This video is sponsored by musicbed. So just as a quick heads up, this project is not quite out yet. It'll be out within the next month, and I'll be doing a proper behind the scenes deep dive when it actually comes out. But in the meantime, I kind of just wanted to talk about what it was like shooting on 35mm for the first time, because to be honest, that kind of was the whole purpose of doing this project. I know a lot of people are turning towards AI right now just because it's way easier, but to be honest, 14 years ago when I was 12, I saw a movie in theaters at an IMAX film showing, projected on film, and it got me so hyped, you know? Honestly, it changed the trajectory of my life, and I think there's something so exciting about film, and at the same time it's so scary. Now more than ever, that's super important for young filmmakers like myself and like the people watching this. I think it's super important for you guys to get out there, to roll up your sleeves, to do something that's horrifying, and to just get after it. So anyways, about a year and a half ago, I had this idea for a project. And primarily I work as a DP, so I usually am not directing, I'm not writing, I'm not editing, I'm not usually doing costume design or any of that stuff. And so when I had the idea for Pilgrimage, I kind of tried passing it off to a couple different director friends of mine. But the problem is that I had never shot 35mm before, so it was kind of a tough pitch to come to a director with a very abstract idea, shooting on a format that I had never shot on before, and being like, hey, let's just do this out of pocket, you know? So after about a year and a half of, just working on different projects and this idea just kind of sitting on the back burner, I was driving to a commercial shoot one day and I was stuck in traffic, and I was just thinking about the year ahead, and I knew that in 2026 I really wanted to work on projects that scare me. Crazy enough, I also looked up and the street I was on was called Pilgrimage Bridge in Hollywood. I think there's been so many times in my career where I will put up my own walls and I will hold myself back because I want to be a DP, and a DP doesn't write, a DP doesn't direct, they don't edit, they don't do the costumes, they don't do X, Y, and Z. And so then therefore I kind of just put myself in a box. But with Pilgrimage, I knew I had an idea that was coming from my heart, and that I kind of was the one that just had to see it through to the end. So while I was in traffic, I texted Moses to Canva and to Max. We put some dates on the calendar that were about 6 weeks out, and I said, we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna shoot it on film no matter what. I don't care if the camera gets jammed, if it breaks. I'm not bringing a digital camera as a backup. These are the dates, these are the locations, let's make it happen. And we did, and I'm super stoked on what we shot. It was such a beautiful learning experience because there's so much more weight with 35mm. You only get 4 to 5 minutes per roll, and we only shot 3.5 rolls, and everyone knew that they had to be super locked in. We had to do rehearsals. We made sure that we were measuring to see if everything was in focus. We just did so much more prep than you would do on a digital shoot because film is super expensive. But I think there's a beauty to it because it just feels like everyone cares so much more and really puts their best foot forward. So as far as the crew goes, like I said, I directed and DP'd it. Moses was our incredible first AC and loader. He also owns the 4-perf camera that we used. We also shot 3-perf on this project as well, which we rented from Old Fast Glass. Max shot a beautiful behind the scenes film, and he was also our gaffer. Then we had Eric, who was our Steadicam operator, Jamin, who was our swing, Lauren and Bella, who helped out with Crafty and picking up gear, and Hillary and Elijah, who also starred in the film alongside Canva. Like I said, this isn't like a super deep dive into the behind the scenes making of, but I really just wanted to make this because I think, like I said, in 2026, a lot of people are turning towards generative filmmaking, but I think it's so special and it's so much more rewarding to go out there and to make something with your hands, with your friends, and to struggle through the growing process. A lot of things went wrong. The camera got jammed, our car engine started to smoke, there was just so much that seemingly went wrong. But at the end of the day, nobody lost their cool. Everyone was just stoked to be making something on film with their hands. And to me, there's a beauty in that, and I want to continue filmmaking that way. Speaking of, I also wanted to thank today's video sponsor, which is musicbed. I'm super stoked to be partnering with musicbed this year. Like I've been talking about in this whole video, I'm very pro analog filmmaking. I think if you're a young filmmaker, that is the future. that's the best thing you can invest in. And I know a lot of brands are turning towards generative AI, but I really love that musicbed has drawn the line in the sand, and they have said that they are human first. They are never going to sell out to generative AI or anything like that. And honestly, that's just so refreshing to hear. I personally switched to musicbed because of this very reason, because I really care about the future of filmmaking and I care where I put my money. Honestly, musicbed has also just been a part of my creative process for the last couple of years. It's always my go-to when I need incredible music for my projects. You can check out the link below to make the switch today and sign up for a free 14-day trial. And lastly, if you're watching this and you are a young filmmaker like myself, I think it is so important to get out there and to do something with your hands that scares you. Try shooting on film, mess up, make mistakes. Don't sit on your computer just generating slop. That is not a rewarding life at all. And I think it's just so much more beautiful to get out there and to make something with your friends.